Welcome back to another episode of Get Your Popcorn. I've got a special guest with me today. Christian, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Christian. I've got a TikTok. My TikTok name is Dragon Talks Filmz. I like to call myself the Dragon. Yeah, I just talk about films on TikTok. I'm gonna try and start up a YouTube channel soon, but I haven't got there yet. But for now, it's just TikTok.
Yeah, it's awesome. I came across your stuff. I don't know, you came up on my For You page. I don't know if we have any mutuals, but I've been following along. I really stuff. We're virtual friends.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about your background with films, like how you sort of started getting interested in them?
Well, I've always loved films ever since I was a kid, and the thing I've always loved about films is the fact that I love the creative side of it. Like, I love how someone can come up with an idea with characters, a backstory, can come up with an idea for this world, write it down, and then that idea eventually can turn into a film or a TV show or whatever. And that all started with one person's idea, and like they basically made this entire world all on their own. And that's really what I've always been interested in. That's really all I've wanted to do ever since I was a kid. And like even in school, I was always like, I remember in school being like 8 years old, I was like the storyteller. I would always like go like really, really big with like the stories we'd write and like English. And they would always tell me to calm it down. I'd be like, no, it needs to be big. It needs to be bigger and better. And they were all like, nah, just calm it. All right. It's year 8 English. Just calm it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really what's always interested me, the creative side of it.
Do you do anything like you've got your TikTok and stuff, but are you working in the film industry at all?
Not at the minute. I would like to. I'm trying to look for jobs at the minute. I'm just working in a bar at the minute, but I'm trying to find a job there.
Yeah.
It is difficult, but working every day.
Yeah, I don't know what the film industry is out there, but from what I hear out here, well, by out here I mean just like in North America, like it feels big, but the industry is very very small and hard to get
Yeah.
into.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, like it's just a very difficult industry to get into. Unless you know someone or you know people that can help you get in, it's quite difficult. So it's all about building connections with people and stuff like that.
You said you first started finding a love for film when you were a kid, so were you like a Disney kid or like more into like superhero movies, or what was kind of your thing?
I did grow up as a Disney Channel kid growing up. Like a lot of kids from the UK, we grew up with like a lot of shows like Horrid Henry or like Horrible Histories, if you've heard of them. But for me, it was always Disney Channel. I was always Disney Channel through and through because I've got an older sister, so she would watch them and I would watch them with her. Like I remember when the first High School Musical came out. Like I'm that old. That was 2006. I would have been about 4 or 5, and I remember that. And I remember when all these things came out, and I remember watching them with her, and it was just from there. And my favorite show when I was a kid was Phineas and Ferb. I used to love it all the time. You used to binge that show whenever it was on. So yeah, I mean, it was really Disney, and then from there, I grew love from film, grew up, and or like it grew bigger, and it's just from there it's spiraled. Really,
Yeah, we didn't have Disney Channel at our house, but I really liked going to friends' houses that had the Disney Channel. But I think I'm a bit older than you because I think I was like 11 when the first one came out.
yeah, like 2006 or something. So it's mad.
Yeah, I was 11. That makes me feel old, but it's been that long since it came out. Um, so as you got older, was there a film that kind of changed your opinion on films and from like a normal kind of interest in films to being like whoa, like this is something different. Like I want to kind of got you down the rabbit hole of being interested in film.
Like really, it wasn't maybe like one specific film. It was just like I remember being young and watching like old like 70s films with my dad. Like Jaws is like my dad's favorite film, and we used to watch that all the time. And obviously, like if you know the backstory of that film, you know how difficult it was to make that film. And I remember just learning about it from like an early age and being like that really makes me appreciate like the fact that these people would go through that would go to that length to make that film. It just really made me think like, wow, these people are dedicated. Like if that was anyone else, we'd probably just be like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. I just give up. But like people like that, like it just makes me think, yeah, like if they're willing to go through that to make a film like that, like I would love to be part of something like that. And that's always what I've known, what I've wanted to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. I listened to this other podcast called What Went Wrong, and it's all about just like how hard it is to actually make a film, and they just talk about the behind the scenes of like different films that are like really really difficult to kind of get off the ground. And some of them I didn't really realize like how much work went into, like Shawshank Redemption, just to like get it through, or
Yeah,
I can't imagine the dedication to be you must have to really, like, extract something out of yourself that you need to get out in order to be willing to put yourself through that.
I know it's like it's mad. Like these people, you can tell they really loved what they did, and they must have known they were making something special. Because I know like making a film's hard work. Like I don't want to talk bad about any films, even though there are good films and bad films. Like that's just a fact. But it is hard work making a film. So like when you go through that amount of lengths to make a film like that, it's just it's mental. It really is mad.
Who are some of your favorite actors?
Well, that's a good one. I really like Stallone. I really like Stallone. Big big Stone fan. Like obviously, I'm a huge boxing fan as well. So Rocky really connected with me as well, and obviously Rambo. I do really like Rambo as well. Like there's just something really special about seeing that a guy like Stallone running around in a tank top with a machine gun in the desert or the jungle. It's fantastic. You can't get that anywhere else. Yeah. And I'd probably say, I mean, like Harrison Ford, I really like as well. Like I know he's one of those veteran actors that's been there, done it from like day one. You can tell like he's done from like the 70s. He's been in some of the best films in the world. He's also been in some not so great films, but whatever it is, he's been there, done it, and he'll own it. He's not one of those actors that will disown a film if it does bad. He's like, oh yeah, I was in that film. It didn't do well. It is what it is. Every actor does it. Every actor's been in a bad film, and he owns it. Yeah, I mean, like Stallone, Harrison Ford as well. Like, there's too many to name. Like, but probably those two, I'm pretty big fans of. I'm
So
a pretty big fan of.
yeah, so, like, 80s action films are kinda your thing?
I do love the 80s, yeah, 80s action films. You know, like Stallone, Ford, old as well, like Dolph Lundgren and stuff like that. Like, just the 80s is just the decade where it just went all out big. Like nothing was too big in the 80s. And like you go back and you watch those films now and you just think maybe they aren't that great, but at the time they were like the best films ever made. The 80s was just a magical decade for films in my opinion.
Yeah, it gets really kind of pushed to the wayside for numerous reasons, I think, because they really leaned, like you're saying, like, bigger everything, but, like, I love films like Scarface, which is just, like,
Scarface
nothing
is a good
is
one.
small about that film.
Yeah, that's I remember watching that and just thinking, because I've seen The Godfather with Al Pacino and that, so I went in that film expecting something similar to that, and it wasn't. It was just Al Pacino. He went round. He played that part. Literally, you would think he was on cocaine. I mean, he was meant to be on in the film anyway, but you would actually think it. He was so good. Yeah, it's a really good film. That.
I don't think he's ever really come back from that. Like, I think we haven't seen a ton of, like, quiet performances from him. I think he just, like, has never quite shook Tony Montana at all.
Yeah, like he's never. It's mad. Like he's done that. Like it's weird because he is known for the gangster genre, but he hasn't done like he's only done about like 5 gangster films, but he's known for that, isn't he? Like he's known for the Godfather films, but he's known for Scarface, but there are only like 4, 5 of the films that he's actually done. But they are his most famous roles, and yeah, you like really appreciate those roles that he got because he is again he's one of the best in my opinion.
Yeah, my favorite actor of all time. Because like, even if a film's bad, he's always good in it. I'm a hardcore defender of his, even though hasn't really done anything that great in the last almost 20 years. I think
Me and a
in
friend of mine were talking about The Godfather the other day, and we were saying The Godfather is one of those films that it's so good. I love those films. Like one of the things about The Godfather, specifically the first one, this could apply to the second one as well. But like the first one, you could split the first Godfather film into 2 films because there's so much going on. And Al Pacino's performance in that, he plays that part so well, and he does it even better in the second one. And I'm a defender of the third one. I actually do think that one's underrated. It's not as good as the first two, I will admit that, but I think he's brilliant in all 3, in my opinion.
I think he's good. I think what weighs down the third one is I think Sofia Coppola is so bad. She's so bad, and it was supposed to be Winona Ryder
Yeah, that
uh,
is true.
part, but I think the film would have been significantly better with her in it. But yeah, I don't know. I tend to watch 1 and 2 and then just I'm like, "Well, that's the series."
It's like
Usually
that.
bring 3.
It's like because my mother is really she loves the first 2 and she hates the third one. And one of the reasons why she hates the third one is because what they like, what she thinks they butchered Michael's character. Like she was like, Michael, in the first one, he's miserable. Like he's not a bad person, but he's miserable. Not very. He doesn't come across as a very fun person to be around. He never smiles, but he's just really miserable and serious man. And in the second one, he is a bad person. But in the third one, they made him funny and made him crack jokes. But he never did that in the first two. Like they made him a funny old man for some reason, and she was like, "Yeah, Michael was never funny. He was always serious and miserable." But in my opinion, I kind of view the third one as like a redemption story for Michael because he's dealing with a lot of guilt from the first two, specifically the second one. He's trying to. This is just my own way of dealing with it because they, they, this is just my like excuse I like to make for the third film. But like, I like to see it as like it's Michael kind of dealing with the guilt of it, of what he did in the second film and trying to make amends with it and trying to redeem himself. And maybe he did that sort of it does have a bad ending. That's one thing I do love about it as well. Like the ending is quite heartbreaking.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't have much of a defense of that film. I do like Andy Garcia, and he's in that, but
Yeah,
that's about it
I
for me.
he is a really good actor. Like his performance in that does get swept under the radar. He is so good in that film as well, and he is a really, really talented actor as well. So I do hope that we do see more of him as well. Because I haven't seen a whole lot of him since, but he is really good.
No, yeah, because he's in Ocean's 11, but I don't think he's more of a character actor, so he's not like
Yeah, that is true.
you don't see as much of he's not like a big box office draw, I guess. Do you have any like directors that you like to focus on their filmography at all? Any standouts for you?
Well, that is again really, really tough because I try not to be like really director specific. Like there are some directors that I may avoid sometimes. Like some directors that like you go back and look at their filmography and it's just not that great. And I go whenever there's a film that they've directed, I wait for the reviews to come out first, and I'm like, is it worth watching? Is it not? I'm like, yeah, I'll probably skip that one. Mainly, I just go and see. I'm a fan of really old directors' work. Really, well, all directors' work that I like, that I think is actually good.
Hmm.
That is most of them.
You're more into like classic film than modern stuff?
Do really, yeah, as well. Like I did grow up with a lot of like classic stuff. Like one film that I used to love watching with my dad was Escape from Alcatraz. I remember the first time I watched that film. Clint Eastwood as well. It was so good. And there's a film from the '60s. I remember Michael Caine's first film called Zulu.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic film. I remember watching that. Films from like the '60s, '70s, and the '80s. That was the stuff I grew up on. Really, I used to watch it with my parents and my grandparents as well. Like that was the stuff I really, really grew up watching. I grew up watching a lot of Bruce Lee as well.
Oh,
Big fan of
okay.
that. Big fan of that. Big fan of that stuff. And then from there, like martial arts films as well. That's the stuff I really grew up on as well. It's like old school stuff. Even though I'm only like 22, my taste in film is quite old fashioned. So I do get told that a lot.
Yeah, I grew up on a lot of classic films too. Not classic martial arts film. I think that's like probably quite a large blind spot in my film. Along with 80s action is just not something that I've ever really leaned into too hard. I like the 70s is my favorite decade for movies.
Yeah, that was a really good film. Like a lot of like what I said with the 80s is a decade that brought out a lot of films that maybe you go back and rewatch them now, they maybe not, they don't hold up, but they were good at the time and they're fun to watch. Whereas the '70s films actually, in my opinion, age better than the '80s. They actually are like really good films. Like there's loads like obviously Jaws I mentioned, French Connection as well. It's a really, really
Mhm.
fantastic film. I can't remember as well. There was my mind goes blank on the spot, but like there's loads of classic films that came out in the '70s that I personally think have actually aged better than films from the '80s. Just with like the acting's better, the script is bad. Like they've just aged a bit better.
And I think the 70s is pretty dark. I think a lot of the 80s films focus on a happy ending and the 70s don't, which I think is like
Yeah.
translates movies now where we're not as focused on the good guy doesn't always have to win in modern films. And I think 70s are really similar. We see something like, The Godfather Part 2 where Michael's kids are gone, he's shot his brother, he's sitting in his house alone. Movie ends. Like,
That's what that's something I love about the Godfather films. there is not, even though there's only three, there is not a single Godfather film with a happy ending. They all have heartbreaking endings, and that is such a smart. Specifically, the first two.
Mhm.
Like, the ending of the first film is like, the way I describe it is like Michael's in the bedroom, I think it is, and Kay's on the other side, and she watches the door close, and you can tell like the look on her face. She's looking at Michael, and she's just thinking, "Oh my god, like this guy is got this guy is out of control." Until like the ending of the first film is like Francis Ford Coppola saying into the audience, "Yeah, this guy that you really like in the first film, yeah, say goodbye to him. He's not going to be here in the second film. Like this is only the beginning." And
Yeah.
the ending of the second film is like what you said. It's like Michael's all alone, both emotionally and physically. He's lost his kids, he's lost his wife, he's shot his brother, and he's just sat there by the lake. Just he is the boss of the family business, but he's all alone. He's got no one, and that was really no one else's fault but his. So it is a heartbreaking ending, and it's really well done as well.
I don't have like a I could go on forever about The Godfather. They have
Forever, like that's me to the point where pe- to the point where people are just like, "Oh, just shut up. I don't want to hear you speaking. Or just shut up."
it's hard though, like we chatted a little bit before we got a mic, but like when you're from an area where there isn't a lot of interest in movies, you're like, I have so much information and nowhere to direct it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, because more like I tried to kind of convince my friends when I was younger. I tried to make like, have you ever seen the film Son of Rambo? It's got a young Will Poulter in it. It was his first film.
No, I don't think I know I've seen the first 3 Rambos.
Well, like this one is it's mainly like it's a comedy kind of based on it. What happens in it is there's these two kids and they're from completely different backgrounds and they team up to make a film based on Rambo called The Son of Rambo, and it's a film about like friendship and brotherhood and that. And I really because the plot of the film is they want to make a film, and I really tried to do that with my friends. I was like, guys, we're going to make a film. I've got a camera at home. We're going to make a film. And none of them wanted to do it. None of them wanted to take it seriously. And I was the only one that was like, oh, come on. Like, this will be fun. And they were like, nah, just, just no, we're not doing that. So I was like left for years trying to be like, where do I direct this interest? Because there's no one, none of my friends want to do it. I don't really know anyone who wants to do it. So I just had to look for people out there on on my own really, and that's where TikTok came in handy. So I like met loads of people on TikTok that were interested in the same thing as me, and that yeah,
Yeah, that's I found the same thing too. I mean, there's no way you and I would have ran into each other in life
yeah,
ever,
exactly,
being
literally,
from 2 separate continents.
literally,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah, it's interesting. Have you seen The Fablemans
I
at
don't
all?
know, no, I haven't. No, actually,
You
I
might like
have heard of it, but I haven't got around to it yet.
It's really good because it talks, I mean, part of the half the story because it's based on Steven Spielberg's life, and he made it. Half the film is kind of talking about his family dynamics, but the other half is just about him finding out that he loves to make movies and all the different things that he did, and all the footage that he shoots in the film, like, as his character, is all recreation family movies that he made, and then he made his sisters do, and teaching him how to do his learning of how to do practical effects and stuff. It's really interesting just from like a if you're interested in like the technicality of how filmmaking is done, like that it's so cool.
Yeah, I definitely do need to give that a watch out. I remember hearing about it, and I remember hearing it's a autobiopic about him uh when he was younger. Obviously, like a different, like not completely accurate, but I remember hearing about it and thinking, oh, I do need to watch that. Yeah, I haven't got around to it yet, but I will very soon.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. I only watched it couple weeks ago for the first time because I'm just on the podcast doing like only Steven Spielberg movies for the summer.
Oh yeah,
Well, it was Jaws 50, and I thought, well, I'm doing one, and then I was like, well, just and then once you start watching Steven Spielberg, or at least for me, I'm like, well, now I gotta watch Jurassic Park, and now I now I gotta watch E.T. and I better watch the first 3 Indiana Jones while I'm at it, and it just
yeah.
sort of
Like
spiral.
he's definitely one of those directors that his work just you watch one film, you get sucked into it. I remember getting the Indiana Jones films years ago. I think it was about 10 years ago. I would have been about 12, and I remember just watching the first one, and I was like, "Well, I have to watch Temple of Doom now." And then I have to watch Last Crusade now, and then I was like, "Oh, well, I have to go on a Steven Spielberg run now." Like, it's just you can't not do it.
What's your favorite Indiana Jones?
That changes every single time. It is one of the first 3. I do really like Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny, even though that they're nowhere near as good as the first 3, but I do appreciate them, and I do think that they're nowhere near as bad as people think, but the first 3, right now, it's probably Raiders.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, most of the time I like the third one, but occasionally if when I start the film, I will start the series again. I'm always like, "Oh, Raiders is so good." It's in my like close second, but I love the third one because I love the dynamic of him and his dad. I think is so funny.
I do like the third one. Like that again, like it changes every time. And Last Crusade, there are times when that one is my favorite, and that one's so smart. I love how they got Sean Connery in for that role. The whole reason why Indiana Jones exists is because Spielberg wanted to direct a James Bond film,
Mhm.
so they managed to get Sean Connery to be his dad. And really, in many ways, James Bond is Indiana Jones's dad, both
Yeah.
like in the right, like both in the development and in the film universe, which is really really clever. So and they work so well together. They've got amazing chemistry.
Yeah, it's really good, and it was because I did a lot of research for that, and they were talking about how Sean Connery made changes to this script because he wanted like they didn't have as much of like a competitive edge in the original script, and he's like, no, like if anything Indiana Jones has done, like I have to have done first and better.
Yeah, it is amazing. I just Sean Connery is one of those. He's one of those really really old school actors. He's a national treasure, really.
Other than a few of his like opinions, he's pretty great. He's a big fan of thinking that women need to be hit every now and then.
Yeah, I do remember that, and I was like, yeah, I don't agree with that, but you were good. You were really good as James Bond.
Yeah, and he's good at I think he's in The Untouchables too, he's really good in that. Haven't seen that in a long time though.
It is mad to think that he was almost cast as Gandalf as well. He could have been Gandalf instead of Ian McKellen, but I think he turned it down because I'm not entirely sure why he turned it down, but probably the best choice because yeah, Ian McKellen was number one as that.
Not a huge Lord of the Rings person, like, I have read the books and I've seen all the movies, but there was, like I don't know if there's, like, a weird, like, microcosm that happened just where I live, but it was like you had to sort of be, like, team Lord of the Rings or team Harry Potter, and I was like, "Well, obvious choice."
Yeah, like it is weird. They are like the main fantasy franchises, and like there has always been that rivalry with the two of them, and they are both like really, really. Again, like I know people who are diehard Harry Potter fans. I've met people that are diehard Lord of the Rings fans. I'm very in the middle. Like I do like both. I'm not a diehard fan of either, but they are they are really, really good, both of them. And even then, like you can tell the influence. I feel like when you watch the Harry Potter films, you can tell like Lord of the Rings has had some kind of influence on the creation of it. Yeah, like they're both. I do really like that genre as well, like the fantasy adventure genre. It is really, really fun. There's a lot you can do with it.
I like it too. It's sort of like the one thing, like, my I have a bunch of sisters, and, like, I think those kind of films are, like, the only thing we all seem to
Yeah,
like. And I think it's one of they can be big blockbuster films, but then people who really like film can go and see and enjoy them too because 'cause they're technically really well made.
yeah. They are really like even for films that came out and like they started making them in like 2001 or something to 2011. Like they hold up so well, even from the first film. Everything about it, the special effects, the acting, everything about those films still holds up to this day. And that yeah, that is some of the reasons why they're so iconic for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I 100% agree. So what have you seen in the theaters this year that you've been like, what have been some of your favorites so far that have come out?
I did see the Captain America Fallen that came out. Wasn't that great. It was all right. It was a bit disappointing. The reason why I went to go and see that was because I already knew that it wasn't that great. I heard from people that went to go and see it, but they were trying to tie it into Incredible Hulk, and I really wanted to see how they were going to tie that story up because that story just left on a cliffhanger and nothing was answered. I was like, I, I really wanted to see how they were going to tie that into the fourth fourth Captain America film, and yeah, it just wasn't. In my opinion, it just wasn't done the right way. So I mean, I did see Revenge of the Sith for the was it 25th 30th anniversary, 20th anniversary. I'm really bad at maths. Me and a friend of mine did go and see that in the cinema, and that is like a really, really good experience. Even for a film that came out in 2005, that film still holds up. It's visually stunning, especially when you go and see it on the big screen. It was amazing. And
Uh-huh.
we went to go and see the new Karate Kid Legends, which was one of my most anticipated films of the year. Because, like I said, I love martial arts films and I love all that. In that film, again, it was all right, but it wasn't. It just felt so rushed. There could have been so much more they could have done with it, and I just felt like a lot of it was wasted. I did enjoy it though, but again, like it just could have been so much more. Especially like because I loved. Did you watch Cobra Kai on Netflix?
I didn't. I actually don't have Netflix, but I need to because I want the new Frankenstein. So I'll probably sign up a little bit. Watch that.
It was that was like it was a good show, but like the ending felt a bit. It started off really good, and then it started getting really stupid, like really easy. But I appreciated that because it was influenced by the 80s, and it was so self aware that it was really East style.
Mhm.
But like it ended on like a bit of a cliffhanger, and I really wanted to see how they were going to tie that up. And to be honest, they didn't really tie any of it up in the new film, which kind of disappointed me. But it wasn't a terrible film, to be honest.
It's hard sometimes with those legacy sequels. I feel like they either like really hit the mark or just miss it entirely.
Yeah, you do get that a lot, which is annoying, especially for like diehard fans. Like go and watch a film in the cinema, expecting it to be like really good, and it just doesn't work for a lot of people. They just don't hit it, or it misses the point of what like the source material was, or something like that, and it just doesn't. We've all been there, like we've all been to the cinema, and we've all seen like a film that we're really, really anticipating, and it just doesn't do it for us. We've all had that feeling of disappointment, which
Yeah.
for every film fan, it's just like I say, we've all been there, but it has to happen.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Disney live action ones. I've like stopped going to them because like they just
Yeah,
keep getting progressive. Like the first couple, I was like, I really like this. And then it just, after Beauty and the Beast came out in 2017, it just went like,
yeah,
don't.
like, there was so many. I remember watching when the live action Mulan came out because I love the original. That was one of the films I grew up with, and I was really excited to see how they were going to tackle that in live action. And in my opinion, it just missed it. Like there was so many things about that film that they could have done and they didn't. Like what really annoys me is about those films is I'm fine with like you remaking a film and changing some things, but I feel like they change. Like with the new Lilo and Stitch film, for example, they completely changed. They made so many changes to the live action one, but the changes that they made were so vital to the original film, and they just took
Mhm.
them out. And I was like, well, what's the point? Why are you doing that? Like, is it you're completely missing the point of the original.
Well, I
I'm
think
all for making changes, but oh, it's just annoying.
for Stitch too, like they changed it so it was like, and I think this is a huge problem in this piece in general, but like it made it like oddly pro-military and like
Yeah, yeah,
was, like, so gross and, like, so against what, like, the original like you're saying the original was, which is very much about, like, keeping families together and, like, there's so
yeah,
many problems within, like, the government involvement in indigenous communities, which they really talk about in Lilo and Stitch, and then they're, like, throw it all out in the live action, they're like, "Go US military." Oh,
yeah. Like that's the thing with the like the original films because they came out in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and they talked about a lot of issues in those films. Whereas in the new live action ones, they just completely throw those issues out the window and they just want to focus on I don't know what they want to focus on. They want to focus on like making like a funny film, but it just doesn't work because like I said, there has to be that balance of serious and funny, and those original cartoons do it so well. But the live action ones just try and be too funny for their own good,
yeah.
and it just doesn't work in my opinion.
Yeah, it takes the heart and the magic right out of it, which is
Oh
the
yeah,
whole reason
yeah.
to go see a Disney movie in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. Disney used to be so serious, and now I just think it's gone quite silly.
Yeah, I mean, I say that as I say here in my merch, so I don't fully support the brand, but yeah, I'm like, I want them to go back to what they were like in like, because I like growing up in like the 90s, 2000s, like I feel like I hit peak Disney.
Yeah, Disney was. It used to be like one of the best, and now I just can't get with some of their films anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't even go and see them in the theater, which is I used to be like, I'd go and see like
Oh yeah.
whatever this dropped, I'd go see, and now I'm like, I'll just wait. So, what pushed you into wanting to do TikTok specifically, um, to talk about film content?
Well, like It started off years ago, before really TikTok was a thing. I'd always wanted to do it. I'd always wanted to talk about films on a platform, and I started watching. I remember in 2015, I was about 12. I came across Chris Stuckman, for the first time, and I became such a fan of his. It was through Stuckman I found out, about other film YouTubers like Jeremy Johns, the Flick Pick, all those guys, and I started watching them, and I was like, "This is what I want to do. I want to do something like this. I want to have a platform where I can talk about films." But I never really. I was young and I didn't really know how to really do it and actually get an audience. Considering like that was on YouTube, I didn't really know how it worked. And then when TikTok came about, and then the pandemic hit, and everyone started going off on TikTok. Like that, the pandemic was when loads of people started just exploding on TikTok, and
Mm.
everyone got a following, talking about films or like making funny sketch videos. And I was like that, and I was like, I don't think I've got the confidence for that. At the time, I didn't. And then really only like until like last year, I was like, I'm gonna give this a go because I've wanted to do it for a while, but I haven't done it. And I was like, well, if I don't start now, I never will. So yeah, that was really it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's hard though. Like people, I do think people don't understand like how hard it is to like it's so deeply embarrassing to like film yourself talking, edit it, and post it, and then you're like, oh God, look, like I don't know what your high school experience was, but it's like I'm like, oh God, like people, like they're so right. I'm so cringe. I am so stupid or whatever. Like, and
And yeah,
I did graduated 11, 12 years ago, but I still feel very like cringe on the internet, especially if I'm like, I don't know, emotional or something. It's really hard that like barrier for entry of like committing to embarrassing yourself for a while, especially when you've got like 3 followers. One of them's your mom. It's like real difficult.
like that's the thing as well. Like I was going through because I hate watching myself back when I'm editing. I try and avoid it as much as possible. I try and get everything right on the first take, even though yeah, you rarely ever do. But because I hate going back and editing it, I just try to. And like and like what you said, when when you've only got like a handful of followers and you're just starting out, it was really like that because there was a long period of time when I was only had a couple of hundred followers, and I was posting. My posts weren't getting any likes whatsoever, and that was going on for a while. And I was like, "What do I need to do? Why? How do I get the followers? How do I get the likes?" And everyone was like, "Okay, it will come with time. You just need to get more confident. You need to just feel more confident in yourself while talking to the camera." And I was like, okay, okay. And then eventually, like, I just did it more. It just came. Even though I've still got a long way to go, obviously, but I'm much better than I was about like even 6 months ago, which I remember like six months ago, I was barely getting any likes, and now I'm getting more. But again, the road, like, it's still going. I've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, same. I'm like barely like getting out of the like I don't know, now like I'm starting to get people that aren't just like people I know or like what I deem to be maybe like spam accounts, but like yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. So I don't know if you're familiar with Inside the Actors Studio. It's probably on TV after your time or before your time. But it was a show that was done with the Pace University for actors. And I make everybody answer this questionnaire. I sent you the questions, so you're prepared.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word, probably like something like drive, like as in like you've got drive to do something. Because like I hear it all the time. Like people say you're really driven. That's something that people say a lot about. Not even just about me, like about me dad as well. Like people say, oh, you're really driven. If you want to do something, you're driven to do it. Maybe something like drive or driven, something like that in that context.
Yeah. What's your least favorite word?
Oh, there is a lot of words I just can't stand. Something like, oh man, probably like even like in any context, the word busy is annoying because whenever you hear someone say that word, it's always like, all right, you're busy, you can't do it. I'm too busy, I can't do this right now. It's like every time I don't know if it's like being like programmed into me since I was a kid, but whenever I hear someone say that, I'm like, just all right, fine, I'll do it myself then, fine. Even though it can be good, because if you're busy, like you're keeping yourself busy and you're doing things, but yeah, just not a fan.
Yeah. What turns you on creatively?
Uh, I would say characters and like when people like create like a world and like a film, like they create like a mini world within that film. The characters are such a huge part of that, and I feel like what turns us on creatively is when people like write characters that feel like they existed long before the film started, and they'll continue to exist long after the film ends. And, you know, they've got a backstory, they've got a future that like they actually genuinely feel like people. They don't feel like film characters that will just cease to exist as soon as the film ends. And whenever you rewatch the film, the timeline just resets and all that. So if that makes sense. Yeah, like characters in a film that really like have depth and have like foundation that are so well written. I would say something like that.
Totally. Like when you're dropped into like a Spike Lee film and you're like, all right, we're going. Like they're ready. Like
Literally,
Mookie's
yeah.
like, developed.
Like you don't even need to warm into them. You just put into them and then it's off you go.
What turned you off creatively?
I thought about this actually. It's when, for example, when you're watching like a TV show and that TV show has like a prequel. Like for example, you know the Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
and you know like young Sheldon.
Yeah.
Like I used to love the Big Bang Theory when it was on. I haven't watched it in a while because it ended a while ago. Young Sheldon, I haven't seen a lot of, but what I mean by that is like when you get a prequel TV show that has events in it that don't line up with what the character said in the original, like, and
Hmm.
it creates so many plot holes. And for me, it's always annoyed me because I've always thought, how hard is it to go back and rewatch the show and make sure you've got every detail right? Like, so many times Sheldon has said something has happened in the Big Bang Theory and they've completely ignored it or they've done it differently in Young Sheldon. And I'm like, how hard is it to go back and rewatch it and just get every detail right? Like, now I can't even get it now because it's just annoying. Like, those little plot holes just really annoy me. So, yeah, I'd say that.
I totally understand that. I am a big Friends fan, and Friends has a lot of plot holes in it,
But yeah,
especially like, you're like, no, like, no.
like,
I totally understand what you
I
mean.
remember watching that in Ross several times. Like I think like 3 times in the show, in 3 different seasons, Ross says he's 29 years old, and I'm like, how hard is it to just keep the continuity correct? It's so
Yeah.
annoying. It's so annoying.
What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, I've actually, it's not so much like, it's not like a curse word per se, but whenever you tell someone to fuck off, love that. Because like I think it was Billy Connolly that said it. He said, when you tell someone to go away, you're just telling them to go away. But when you tell someone to fuck off, you're saying fuck off. Fuck off doesn't mean go away. It means get out my face right now or I will hit you. I just love it. It's such a beautiful pair of words.
Yeah, I like that one too. What sound or noise do you love?
A sound of noise. I love like in the morning when it's early and you wake up and you can just hear like the birds just tweeting like through your window. I just like that. Even though I'm not a morning person, but I do love that when you've gone to bed early the night before and you wake up and the sun is just rising and you can hear that. Like that is such a beautiful sound. I love it.
What sound or noise do you hate?
When it's a nice day outside and you hear the rain start coming on, hitting against the window, I hate that because that happens a lot. We get really, really bipolar weather over here. One minute it can be really sunny, and the next minute you can just hear the rain hitting against the window, and you're just like, I was planning to go outside. Now I'm not now. So yeah, that really annoys me.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, I'd like to be. I tried to be a boxer for a while. That didn't work out very well, but I would like to try and go back and revisit that. Try and not. I'm not saying I'd ever be a world champion, but like try and do something in it, something like that. Maybe like a boxer or maybe like an MMA fighter, because I'm a big fan of that of those sports as well. So maybe something like that.
And what profession would you not like to attempt?
Like an office job, maybe like an accountant, or like something like that. Because like my sister's an accountant, and that's just her. Like my sister and dad are very like that. They're like they work with money in office jobs, and I'm just like I don't know how you can do that. It's just boring, in my opinion. So yeah, probably something like that, an accountant or like some kind of office job when you're working like that.
And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Like something like "Welcome, we've been waiting for you. We hope you had a safe journey," or something like that.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on. This has been really fun.
Thank you
This
for having
was
me.
Yeah, it was great we coordinated like 8-hour time zone jump, so that was fun. So thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime.